Welcome to day number 4. It's day number 4 of the Hidden Client Challenge. So far, we have covered a few things. We've discussed and mapped out your .client. We've built an irresistible offer. We started yesterday creating real momentum with that repeatable growth strategy, which is teaching people live. And we talked about the snowball effect. And yesterday, I also did invite you into our brand new OmniSpark Academy, which is loads more resources and support when it comes to the Old Elite program. It is way more that we've put into this with loads of reviews and hand-holding along the way. Some of you have already started applying, so congratulations to you guys. But today, I know some of you are also you're here because you want to learn about overcoming objections. That's what today is, right? And I'm also going to share with you today about the art of enrollment. So if you're ready to slay the dragons today, we're going to stand up as always. We're going to rock on out to the Sparkle song. Come on, guys, stand up as we wait for everyone to join us inside the VIP room. Let's kick off day number 4.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
And sparkle.
And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine, go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares
look at you all dancing on out inside of the VIP room. It was so good. I love kicking off. We actually started with a bit of jam and this morning listening to songs before we all went live today. Okay, so today is all about bring on day number 4, says Sharon. Yes, baby, we are here. We are ready to rock and roll. It's so lovely to have you all joining us again for day number 4. So today, some of you you've been following and you've continued following me, some of you for years, and you've continued sitting on the fence. And today we're actually going to clear up some of this today for you, because when you understand the art of enrollment and how to overcome objections, it's not just going to help you get more clients, it's actually going to help you in life. But let's say today's is really a life skill when we talk about the art of enrollment and how it applies to your clients, to your family, and even to yourself. And some of the biggest objections that we hear that stop most people and how we can start to reframe them. And I'm also going to share a little bit of a story about, a big shift that I had that really changed my entire life and the way I do business. So drop me some emojis if you are excited for today. Now, as always, the replays are available on home base. A big shout out to everybody who has committed. We are nearly at day number 5. And don't forget also all of our prize draws. So we have the Turn Up Live one, but also when you're here live, where some fun things happened yesterday. I can tell you, when we went dark, some really fun things happened. And for those of you who are here, please still continue to hang out, because we've got something to share with you. We did tell you what came up in our conversation as a team yesterday when we went dark. Well, Ash and I had a little bit of fun last night. So we've got a little parody that we will be sharing with you when we go dark at the end of today's session. All right, now, here are all the prizes. Don't forget all of these awesome prizes. We'll be drawing another round of prize winners at the end of today. Also, I just want to give a couple of shout outs to those who have done their lives. I've got my little list over here. So first off, I would like to recognize the amazing Deborah. Success to her means, where did I put Deborah? Here she is. She's down here somewhere. I did put Deborah's on my list. I'm going to start at the top of my list so I don't get confused. Chris Ramsden, success means to him that he does not have to do any more teacher relief training, and just because then he can focus fully on his business and have enough cash flow for his family to enjoy life and visit relatives in England. Also, shout out to Deborah. There you are. Success means to Deborah, in regards to monetary success, freedom. Yes, I love that word, freedom alongside of success. Because freedom is choice. That's what I was saying yesterday. And doing things that she wants to do, which is mainly traveling. I know she told me she's got family in all different places around the world. And also for her business, it would be consistent income, right? A consistent flow of clients and more confidence in what she offers. And I can't wait. I'm nearly finished your signature method, just working on some pictures for it now. Emma Fisher, even though she doesn't join us live, she's always there doing and completing things, and success means doing things easier and teaching people how to work in dynamic families and share with others how she made a passive income. And Maria, success is expressing herself and talking about things that matter to her. And then Sharon, the flavor fairy, right? Flavor makes everything better is her quote. I love that. And that's by the amazing Sharon, her own. Wonderful, guys. All right. So keep up all that amazing work that you're doing inside the group, because we are paying attention. Now, my team tells me before we actually kick off today's training, my team tells me there are been a few questions that are coming in, not just from those people who are here with us live each day, but there are lots of people out there stalking and watching and messaging us in the background. And in my experience, if, 5 of you have the question, hundreds of you have probably thought about it. So with your permission, I want to address a couple of these before we dive into today's content. One of them is, what is the difference between the Done For You and the Academy? So we have this OmniSpark Academy, and we've also got the OmniSpark Studio. Now, the Studio is our Done For You program. Now, as we discussed yesterday, the Academy is more of a done with you. You've got to do all the work. You've got to do all the building in the tech, but we'll give you guidance along the way. We will review your offer, your sales calls, your messaging, and your sales pitch. Now, the Done For You or the OmniSpark Studio, this program actually starts at 15,000 up to 25. But we do the building for you. So you get a mapping session with me, and then we go ahead and build all the tech for you. And we spend the first 3 months solidly building everything out for you inside the tech. And then you just need to focus on only what you can do, which is get your training ready. Now, when you fill in your application, we can talk about, which method is better for you, whether you want to do it with us or you want us to do it for you so you can just focus on the things that happens. Now, the other one was what happens at the end of the 12 months. Well, there's a couple of things. We only bring in 12 spots at a time because we do have a very small but mighty team. If the 12 spots are gone, there will be a waiting list that opens up, and you will go on the waiting list for the next cohort, and you can pay a deposit to hold and lock in the current price because, prices always go up, especially the more resources we add. I've got to cover that. Now, at the end of the 12 months, you will have a couple of options. A lot of people just continue with us, and we give you a bit of a discount on the following years because a lot of the stuff has been built, but you need us to continue for strategy and, looking at those sexy numbers and filling a few other gaps. Also, in regards to your software, you get a reduced price on your software. You won't be paying the $497 a month that people would generally pay. You'll get a highly 50% or even more than 50% discount on that moving forward for the software. So we don't offer the alumni program until we've spent 12 months with you. And the reason for that is some people don't do the work, to be honest. And I don't want to work with people who don't actually follow through. So we only actually give the alumni program offer to those action takers out there. Now, also, when do you need to decide? Well, we actually kick off tomorrow with a welcome celebration for everybody who has registered and put their application in. So not that it's decision time, but why would you want to miss the start of something? So the thing is, only you can do the work, but you won't be doing it alone, right? So if not you, who? If not now, when? And if not what? If not this program, what are you going to do? So if you've got any other questions, please reach out to my team members and we can give you more clarity around, the process, the investment, the commitment time, and all of those, and around the deadlines. We will be closing enrollment next week on Wednesday so that we can kick off with this cohort together so that you're a cohesive group coming through together. You've spent this week in the challenge together, and these people will now be moving into this program together. So you've probably made a lot of friends, right, along the way. So that will be what's happening. All right, so let's kick off with the first lesson, which is the art of enrollment. Now, honestly, I truly believe at the heart of everything is the art of enrollment. I was really touched by these questions and the conversations that we've been having with people and over the last couple of days. And this morning, I'm sure many of you haven't been sleeping well. You were up maybe tossing and turning and debating whether or not this program is for you. Is it the right time? Is it even the right program? Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed with everything. Can I even afford it? How do I tell my partner? Will this even work, right? Some of you are even debating if it will even work. And I know these questions. I remember being there myself. I remember debating these questions too. And I know these questions show up so often in our lives, not just in this decision, but whenever we face a decision, and finding a clear path to navigate around making big decisions, that is often something we're never actually taught to do in life. So I hope what I'm about to share with you will help you not just today, but anytime you face a fork in the road. It really comes down to a life skill, learning how to overcome objections and your own objections and the objections of others. Then this is what we have. So before you even enroll or make a big decision, the first person you actually need to enroll is you. You need to enroll yourself. You need to own your own decisions. Now, once you are like, okay, I know I can do this, right? Even in business, I know I'm going to be successful in business, no matter what. I always say, I'm taking this road, I'm riding this car, and I'm on my ship sailing that way, and anyone who wants to join the ship with me, come along on this ride. But I know no matter what, come hell or high water, I am going to be successful. Well, I feel I am pretty doing all right. It's because I believed in myself. When I started, I told my husband, give me 5 years. So once you've enrolled you, the next people to enroll is your loved ones. So your family, your partner, your significant other, right? I know there's a lot of fear around big decisions, and it's totally normal. Investing in yourself is a big decision. It's a big decision because it symbolizes so much more than just a simple yes and no. And the path to get there is much more complicated, or at least it seems that way from where you're sitting now. So take a deep breath and let it out. Let me give you something that you can use for the rest of your life to find your way through big decisions. And then you can enroll your loved ones when you believe in yourself. Then once you've enrolled your loved ones, now you're ready to enroll your team in your vision, in your dream, right? I said, my team, they come and go, but I'm still sailing my boat to that destination, and people are jumping on and off the boat. But I have enrolled my team. We have a lot of fun. We show up together. And then once all of these people are enrolled, then you can enroll your clients with confidence, right? So it really does start with you. And if you don't have a team, you will one day. Right? Because you know why? You believe in you. You believe in you that you will have a team one day, right? Because it all starts with you, and your loved ones will get on board. I remember my mum wouldn't tell people what I was doing because she didn't understand it, right? She had no idea what I was doing. My dad still tells me I don't actually understand what it is you do. But they believe in me, and they didn't believe in me at the start. I remember when I was in network marketing, my mum was that person who would be like, don't tell people that you're in network marketing because it's a pyramid scheme. People who say that are just uneducated. They don't actually know that it's a real human. They're just sharing something that they love with others. That's what network marketing is. It's actually a personal development company in disguise. That's really what network marketing is. But once she started seeing me be successful, getting up on stage, winning awards, traveling to America, being in the top 1% of the company, oh, now she's telling people. right? So now I've enrolled my family. Now I'm doing well. Now I'm starting to hire a team. And my clients had more confidence in me because I had more confidence in myself. So in my experience, when you fail to start thinking and enrolling yourself first, this is where fear comes in, right? And you start to fear things around money and time and support and confidence in yourself. And, horrible shame and self-doubt around your own decision-making powers start to come in, especially if you've let yourself down in the past. Who's enrolled in programs and never followed through? Yeah? Many people. Course junkie here. But if you've taken any risk in your life, you're bound to have some failures, right? You're bound to make some bad decisions. I invested in a coach for $25,000 and then to discover, one, he was in the UK, bad time difference, should never hire a coach in the UK. Second was his coaching sessions were made up of him in a webinar format and me typing my questions to him. And I remember one day I didn't type fast enough and he's like, oh, well, if I've got no more questions, I'll head off. And he left early. Right? And I'm like, okay, well, I won't be doing that. That's why we have an open Zoom room where we can see each other to ask questions. Like, we've all made bad decisions. That was $25,000 down the drain. Another one is I invested in a sales school to get me sales team. We got the team on board and they were so busy trying to set people that they were just setting for the sake of setting, which means booking people into sales calls because they got paid per sales call. And you know what happened is they set shit, right? Quality was so bad. So again, a bad decision. I learned from that. We don't hire setters and pay them per set. We pay them per close, but that cost me a lot of money to realize. So often you ask questions, you've got questions around making decisions, and it's less about whether it will actually work. It's more about, will you do the work, right? Because the more you're committed to you is where you're going to actually see the results. Like this program, for example, your questions, they will center around what we do for you in the program. What will we do for you? This often shows up for us. You debate the nuances of the program and pore over the brochure and read all the terms and conditions. You debate even scheduling the call and then even showing up for the call and the start date, right? But when you actually peel back the layers of all of that, what you're really debating is you. Will you do what it takes to get through the program? And so often you really are questioning and afraid to admit it, whether you're going to show up, whether you're actually going to do the work. And the reality is for you is to do the work. But this is also a mutual partnership. I can assure you, we put 100% into our part of the partnership, and you've got to put in your 50%. I've hired new team members to improve the methods in which we can deliver to get you better results, but you have to commit to putting in your 100% into our 50-50 partnership. Now, many times the only difference between your success and somebody else's is literally your level of commitment. It is how you show up. It is how you commit. It's the difference between being committed and doing whatever it takes, because that's how I roll. I'm like, no matter what, whatever I've got to, I sold things from my garage to start this business because I had no money, right? I gave up things that were convenient that I was doing to avoid doing the work so that I would do the work. So when you know it's the right time, for example, what if you just started a business? What if you were swamped in all the business stuff? Well, this seems like a polar opposite, like they're very similar. It's about finding the perfect time to start until you realize, guess what, guys? There is no perfect time. There is no perfect time for any decision. And there is also no time like the present. Whether you are hungry for clients or you're overwhelmed with the idea of adding new clients, this is about a system, right? We have a recipe that you can follow. We have strategy, we have support, we have accountability, and you have the action. It's about commitment. You could delay this decision, but I mean, why would you? Why would you delay getting help when you need it? The mentor in you knows you deserve it. The tools to leap over the obstacles, the systems to help you stop reinventing the wheel, so that you can get there faster. All right, let me talk about the objections, right? Now, there are 4 common objections, right? So let's think about this. I'm going to give you the letter and let's see if you can work out what they are. All right, so the first most common objection is, well, I should have put this one, is time. So is it the right time? Is it the perfect time? Right? There is no time like the present. Are you going to be in the same, and this happens quite often. I will interview somebody, they're not ready. They come back in 6 to 12 months and they're like, oh, they haven't gotten any further and they've wasted all that time in indecision. I remember one of our clients, Mark Lipshut, he came in October, I think it was September, October, around that time. I did a whole mapping session. I wrote out his entire plan and he's like, oh yeah, we're just going to do this and we're just going to do that. I can just do that myself. He came back then in, I think it was about March, and he just didn't do any of that stuff. And now he's out there, he's like it's speed to market is the words he used, right? If he tried to do it himself, speed to market would be much slower. Now, the second objection, right, most common objection, the one at the top there, who can guess what that is? Yeah, we got it. Money. Money is the second objection that people show us. Now, money fears show up big in our lives. And of course, they show up every day in starting and growing a business. I would recommend you go and look at the emotional cycle of an entrepreneur, one of the videos that I've done that kind of goes around, all of these things we do to distract ourselves. And of course, every time you face that money fear, you have to ask yourself, is it going to impact your ability to pay for the roof over your head? Or is it going to impact the ability to put food on the table? And if so, it is not the right time for you. But this is what I do with the time and money objection, is I put it on a scale, right? And when I'm speaking to somebody, I ask a really good question: tell me more. Because sometimes people make a money excuse, but it's not real. I had one client who wouldn't join our program because she had no money whatsoever. And then next week she went and bought a $20,000 TENS machine for her practice. And she said to me she had no money. Now, down here for the no money is I'm working 3 jobs, I'm living in my car, I can't feed myself. Up here with the no money is like, I've got to move a few things around. I've got to, go check a few things, but I'm working full time. Like the person down here, it is not the right time. The person up here, it is not because of really money. So every time you face this money fear, you have to ask yourself, is it going to affect putting food on my table, or can I find a way? Like I did, I went and sold things from my garage. One of my mentors, Shalene Johnson, she ran a challenge. She ran a challenge to help people find things to sell so that they could invest in her program. Her program was, I think it was about $4,000, and people started putting things on Etsy. One person who was actually wanting to come into our program, he went and started working and driving Uber so that he could come into the program. So is it money that you can't spend right now? Or is it money that you can spend and you can repay it to yourself later? I borrowed money from my daughter's bank account because I knew my numbers when it came to ads, but I needed money to run ads. So I borrowed some money from her bank account and I put it back when I got it, right? So some of you, it might be a big stretch, but others, it's just your own personal fear around. So how creative and how resourceful are you willing to be? You know, back in the day when I was selling from my garage to invest in my first course, you know, when I decided to get serious, I did actually have a job, like a real job, but I didn't love it. It was a corporate job. It was working for the government, Centrelink, right? But it paid the bills and it allowed me to, you know that I could feed the family. But what if I got a loan or borrowed some money and doubled down on the time that I spent on building my business, working weekends, nights, evenings around my full-time job? So you've got to ask yourself, are you willing to invest in your own success, knowing that you will renew and have to renew your own commitment to you? Because success is within your reach and your ability is in the way in which you know you will show up and repay whatever investment you put in tenfold. This is the way successful people think. They evaluate an opportunity. They see the difference between the expense and they stop seeing it as an expense and they start seeing it as an investment. An investment that pays dividends in the long term to make more money back and then some. An expense is like Starbucks. Investing in yourself that pays higher dividends than any other investment that you can possibly make. And when you think about it, how could you be serious about your business and not invest in yourself, in your education, in your mentorship? So if not this, what? You need something. At any given time, I have a coach. I have a program that I'm doing to improve one of the gaps in my business. I also have a psychiatrist and a therapist, right? As a coach myself and somebody who is trained as a pro coach, you know, you wouldn't expect a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant to not invest in their education. Why would you hire them? So why would an entrepreneur be any different? And if you know you're meant to do this thing, right, this is going to be your breakthrough year, and you need accountability, community, resources, stop reinventing the wheel every day, you can afford the program. But ask yourself, is it going to put me, and I'm going to lose my house over this? Then this is not the program for you. So seriously, to yourself, can you afford it or not? Which leads me to certainty and the role it plays in the law of attraction, the role it plays in your commitment to yourself, the role that it plays in the next one, which is the P. What is the P? Does anyone know what the P is? All right. Watching for the tip. Everyone's like, no. Partner. Partner is the next objection, or your significant other. The role it plays in talking to your spouse, to your network, even your mother, your sister, your best friend, and your team. I know for many of you, the real debate is then not with yourself. If you believe you can, the next biggest debate is with your family, with your spouse. I have huge compassion for spouses, truly. for other people out there, other people at the end of the line of what we're doing, you know, that it's your mothers, your sisters, your brothers, your spouses. You are calling and asking them for advice, right? For permission to do what it is you want to do in your business. You're calling them for guidance. But here's the thing. They are not here in this room with you. They are not living the energy that you live. They're not surrounded by this community. They are not in there. They are not in this safe container that we're in right now, where you can feel the opportunity, where you can see the success stories around you. They may or may not even be an entrepreneur, just like my husband. He is not an entrepreneur. He was so skeptical of me becoming a coach. If we are really being honest with ourselves, they may be skeptical of you. True? You may have let them down before. You may have joined one network marketing company, started a business here and there, and you have not shown up. You have let them down before. You may have knowingly or unknowingly demonstrated patterns to them that suggest that you may be not willing to go the distance, a pattern that they start to see. And that suggests to them your limited commitment to them and to yourself and to your big dream. And you want that, right? You want that big dream of running your business. So if you've never been an entrepreneur, right, they don't understand. It may be well beyond their comfort zone to even embrace what comes with being an entrepreneur. It's hardship, but it's choosing opportunities that sometimes scare us, which between us is all the more reason you should be with some program getting support and accountability and surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Now, this next piece is critical. This is a write-downer, right? Not just useful for here, but in all forms of decisions. It's about getting the troops on and rallying behind you. Certainly, certainty itself. Certainty always wins the debate. Your certainty must trump theirs. So let me give you some skills here. When you're talking through a decision with your spouse, significant other, or a family member, whether it's this or anything in life, you must explain why the time is now, why you must do this for it to work, how you can expedite the results with a proven toolkit, with guidance, with having a mentor, with others to get you there faster. And how will it make your life and their life easier? And frankly, it can be better for your relationship. And when you have trusted advisors and communities that allow you to come back to and kind of sometimes just air your dirty laundry with, when you turn up for your partner, for your spouse, you can be more present for them versus them having to sit there and listen to you and all the problems that you're having. And if you've ever tried and started to speak to your partner and then you stop, you have to resolve any sense of shame and self-doubt by acknowledging your past failures or procrastination. Who procrastinates? By acknowledging, when you speak to them, your past failures, your procrastination, and explain why this is going to be different. You should not be asking for them to let you. You should actually be asking, and this was a game changer for me, you should be asking for their support, not their permission. This was the game-changing difference to them seeing that you are focused, you're going to show up, you're certain, you're more determined than ever with a proven plan. And the best way to demonstrate this can be setting an actual timeline before you go and speak to them. Give them a measurable goal with a reward for both of you when you get to that destination. You know, when I hit 5 figures a month, let's take a vacation at the end of the year and let it be my treat. Because so often we ask our spouses for that permission when really we're seeking our own permission. We're unsure of whether we're actually going to do the work. And then we blame our spouses for not being on board with our success. We have to enroll them in our vision. We have to ask them for their support, not for their permission. So for this to work, you must be fully on board first. If you do not believe you are going to do it, don't even bother joining. You must be certain. Certainty wins every time. And then for the people around you, they will come on board. You know, their belief in you starts with your belief in yourself. I've seen it time and time again. You know, so many doubtful spouses and family members, they turn the corner when they see your certainty, your commitment, and your passion in yourself. Right? I remember a really good friend of mine had not seen me in a while, and she's come and she's like, "You just look so much more confident." And it was because I truly believed what I was doing was going to work, and I was just like living in that confidence. And this can be a turning point for you. When you stop asking for permission, you know what you need to do, and start asking for support in the decision that has already been made. And when you really want their blessing, now you have given yourself permission. Now, the last objection, what do we think this one is? Have you been thinking about that? This one is self-doubt. Right? This is the fourth objection. This last objection, this one's the one that holds most people back, and they get deeply buried in this. The fear of failure is tied to shame and self-doubt. Now, a past decision or an action not turning around what we wanted to do, and it goes to expect that from your past decisions that you expect the same thing to happen moving forward, right? And this is something that's actually really dangerous, because what you're doing is you're keeping yourself stuck in this little prison, and it keeps you stuck there, afraid to take action because you've failed in the past. You start to second guess whether you're even capable of making a decision. So guess what you do? You just don't make a decision, which ironically is actually a decision in itself. You know, to stretch is to actually risk failure. Action takers, real entrepreneurs, they actually are risk takers, but they evaluate the risk against the reward. They risk forward, they fail forward. So when you're evaluating your risk, you have to ask yourself, is it riskier to take the leap and commit to doing the work and modeling another framework and, you know, having the systems and processes and practices in place to get you where you want to go? Or is it costlier not to act and not to do anything? To do it or not to do? You know, is your dream really worth it? Are you willing to risk failure to get success? Or are you going to risk regret? You have to get really quiet with your fear and listen to that really deep internal voice. Is it fear of failure or fear of succeeding? Is it putting you in danger or just pushing you outside your comfort zone? You see, fear itself, it's two sides of the same coin. You have to stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, is it scarier to stay stuck and have my dreams unrealized? Or is it scarier to take the leap and get to my dreams? You see, objections, they're actually opportunities to enroll ourselves and our people and to show up every day in our lives. Overcoming objections and enrolling ourselves, the art of enrollment and the enrolling people around us, it's actually a really important life skill. We all need to master it. These are really simple new ways of thinking, right? These new ways of thinking can help you make decisions today, but I hope that you can all see that they also become real guiding principles for living a really full, realized life. They are the key to being more, doing more, having more, making more. So that's our wish for you. I really want you to be bold. I want you to live bold, be empowered, and fully realize your life. If you know your time is now and you're ready to commit, I want you to feel free to go click that button and fill in the questionnaire on Homebase. The questionnaire itself is going to give you time to reflect on where you are right now. And also, if you need support around making a decision, talk to our program experts, right? Talk to other people. Talk to people who've been through our program, who've worked with us in the past. So let me know in the chat, when you're slaying your dragons, which is the biggest thing that comes up for you? Is it time? Is it money? Is it partner? Or is it fear and self-doubt? Pop it in the chat. You see, overcoming objections, I call it slaying the dragons. The 4 biggest ones is time. I don't have the time. You don't have the time, but if you don't have the time, it's probably the reason why you should join the program, because it'll get you there faster. Or money, it's expensive. But what's more expensive? Wasting months stuck? And with your partner, remember, you need to ask your partner, enroll them in your vision, and playing it safe is actually the riskier choice. And then the whole fear and self-doubt, where I've tried it before and I failed, right? Failure is feedback. This time, you're not going to be alone, right? So, yeah, look, we've got some people commenting. I love it when you get your tippy-tap fingers out. So let me bring you to our home play for today. So for your home play today, I want you to reflect on where you are now and where you were 12 months ago. What has been the biggest block to get you where you wanted to be 12 months ago? And now I want you to think about where you are now and where you see yourself in 12 months' time, and how can you reframe the things that have kept you stuck from moving forward from where you were 12 months ago. All right? So put yourself back in the past and think about what did you do that stopped you from getting to that thing that you wanted, and now put yourself into the future. What do you now need to do to reframe to get to that goal in 12 months' time that you possibly didn't make in the last 12 months? And when we look at the live in 5, this is what we're going to do. You are going to talk about your biggest block. Now, this day in our Live in 5, this is about vulnerability. Okay, now when you go live, you can always teach people stuff. But what will connect you with people is actually sharing your own vulnerabilities, the things that have held you back in the past. Your story, your life story, if you're in this community, it is something that you use and you want to use. That's the difference. My husband doesn't want to tell people about his life story. I do. Right? Being vulnerable, sharing your mistakes is actually really important in our line of work so that people can see that we've done it too. We've been through those mistakes too. So be vulnerable. I promise you it is a safe, supportive space. No judgment. No judgment. And then I want you to talk about how are you going to reframe it for yourself moving forward. Why are my little buttons not coming on? Because of this. So how are you going to reframe it moving forward? Now, here's the big one. I want you to share your big dream with us, even if it scares you. Okay? What is that big dream? If it doesn't scare you, it's probably not big enough. It should scare you, but it is a safe space. This, especially for those who aren't used to sharing, going live and sharing, this is the time to kind of peel back a little bit of fear. I remember the first time I shared the story about my son. Yeah, I have a son. I always talk about a daughter, but I've got a son who's an angel. It was one of the most scariest lives I've ever done. I was shaking. I don't know if it's probably out there somewhere on the interwebs, but I was so surprised about the amount of people that started messaging me saying, "Me too." And then some of those people did actually join my community and become part of what it is that we do to help them. Right? So this is where I want you to just peel back any doubt and share with an open heart. Because your story will motivate, inspire, and change lives for the better. And you will be part of my big dream to help 33 million people. Not because I have that many clients, because I help people like you step into your power, follow your dream, and believe in yourself. I was actually going through my books this morning, trying to find when I had my big breakthrough moment at a conference when I heard Valerie Burton speak. And I was literally crying so hard. You know when you cry and you start going, yeah, that's how much her speech hit me deep inside. And she made me write a sentence that crazily, I've given me goosebumps. I need to find. She made me write, she went through this whole thing about, being a woman and stepping to your own power and all this. And then she made everyone in the audience, there were thousands of us, write down the one thing that scares us that we really want. And it sounds really silly. It was just, I want to help and inspire women to do more, be more, want more. Now, we do help men, but I can tell you at that time, I'm sitting there writing like, because I knew that it was that was the point in it was in a network marketing company at the time. Like I said, it's the gateway drug to being a real entrepreneur. But being around empowering people who were inspiring was so, so awesome. All right. So, like I said, please get vulnerable. It is a safe space. And here's the thing as well. Facebook now deletes live videos. So they're gone in 30 days unless you save them. So it won't stay up for long, but please save it to your phone or, download it yourself, because if this is the first time you've been vulnerable, looking back at it in 12 months' time, you will appreciate it. I deleted my first ever live and I really regret it. It was really bad, but I regret deleting my first live. But your story is powerful. All right. Now, let's do our little prize draw for today. Coming on back from there. All right, let's have a look here at our little prize draws. So these are for our start here. All righty, let's do it. I'll start here. And our winner is, it just flicked over. Raylene. Some sparkles for you. All right, next is our OmniSAM. And off we go to the races. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Oh, we're clapping too early. It is... Hey, Tammy Murphy. I love these people that are still working away in the background. All right, and next is home play. Our home play winners. Now, if you are, we've been asked what's happening with the prizes. Oh, that's a nobody one. Let's spin again. Nobody wins. Let's remove all of those. I must have left a space. Let's try again. If it lands on a nobody one again. No, here we go. Sarah! Yes! And then our live in 5. We are loving these as a team. I love watching the live videos. Our Sparkle live in 5. And it is, Emma Fisher. All right. So we've had some questions around when are you giving out the prizes. Please message your coach. We give out all the prizes next week after we close the door on Wednesday. We then go through and we batch it, right? So we just put aside an hour and we go through and we sort through and we start granting everybody their prizes. The other reason why we don't grant prizes throughout the challenge is we don't want to distract you from what you're here for this week. Right? What you're here for this week. Now, before we go dark and we start talking, I wanted to end today. I wanted to I know I can feel the weight in the room of the decision that people are thinking about. And I want to share a story with you about a time when I faced the same thing about making a really big decision with really big implications. And I was at a crossroad and, I really had to think. I had to think with my heart, not my head. So if it's all right with you, I thought I might share a little personal story and get a little vulnerable with you. Yeah? Okay. So Ash. Yes, Ash. Oh, hang on. I can't hear you because I'm on the wrong screen. 1 second, please. There we are. Ash, I should be able to...
That's all we wanted. Thank you.
Yeah. Could you hear me before?
We could hear you, but we couldn't see you. So you were about to share your story.
Oh, and there was no Sally. Oh, I forgot to change the scene.
And we wanted to see.
Aww.
We just wanted to see your beautiful face,
Aww.
And
I forgot to hit the button. Thank you.
And one more thing, Sarah Lowell has to announce.
Oh, she does. Most interactive.
Draw before you get started.
Yeah, sure. All right, let me find my little Sarah Lowell screen right here. Hey, Sarah.
Hello.
Oh, you're not sure.
Well, I don't want anybody to think this is rigged because I really did tally all the comments, and by a landslide, the winner is Sarah McCall.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. Sarah for Sarah. There we go, right? Okay, guys. So I guess, yeah, I really wanted to share this personal story with you. Okay, so for the early start of my life, right, I'd always done what I was meant to do, right? I went before, the early days when I had no money and partied a little too hard. But eventually I grew up and I realized that, you know, I had to get a job, right? I started pulling beers. I worked in gaming. And then eventually, I mean, there was many other jobs before that, busking and all sorts of things. But I took the safe road and I got myself a corporate job. And I worked in a place called Centrelink. Can't get much more corporate than working for the government, who pays most of the population money, right? Anyone who has a kid pretty much gets money from the government unless they're earning over a certain amount. And back then, pretty much every family got money because it was based off the caretaker, the home person's income, which most of them were full-time mums or full-time stay-at-home dads. So when I worked for the government, I thought I was set, right? I remember thinking, whoa, I get holiday pay, I get sick pay. After being a casual for years, jumping between jobs and busking on the street to get money, this government job felt really, really safe. And this was around the time that I met my husband. And it was June of 2003 that my husband and we got married. Right, and he had a corporate job. He worked for a company called Target, yeah, with a rondelle. He actually was the very first CAD manager ever for Target. And he worked his way up from pushing trolleys for Target, and he was there for many, many years. He hates it when I say job. He has a career, right? He has a career. I had a job in Centrelink. But I thought it was set. We got married and we went away on our honeymoon, and guess what we tried to make? We tried to make babies. You know, I got back from my honeymoon. My best friend and my brother, they got pregnant while looking after our house when we were on our honeymoon. And I'm like, oh, I'm still not pregnant. But by the end of the year, I was. And, you know, you have these dreams of what you think life is going to look like and, you know, what you're led to believe, right? Get married, have kids. It's going to be amazing. And then in March of 2004, I was almost 20 weeks pregnant. I was nesting. I remember I was out the back painting the garage and moving things out to make room in the house. And I said all weekend, I go, oh, everything feels really low in my tummy. And I'd never been pregnant before. I had no idea. And then that was all weekend. And Monday came around and my husband went off and I went to the toilet and something was coming out. And I freaked. I ran back to my bedroom and I called my mum. And she goes, stay there, I'll ring the ambulance. Guess what? She called 911 and it went nowhere back then. Went nowhere. Then she finally rang 000. And in that time, I rang Danny and he was already nearly at work. He had to drive an hour and a half to get to work. He turned around and came back. By the time he got back, he was following the ambulance to the hospital. So we were almost 20 weeks. If we went based off my period, I would have been 21 weeks. But they went based off my measurement because the week prior, I had my 19-week scan, the one that you can find out if it's a boy or a girl. Right, so we found out we were having a boy and we named him Dylan John. And my husband's name is Danny John. And my dad's middle name is John and his dad's middle name was John. And, you know, it all felt like the perfect plan had come together. And I wish that I made them go off my period because I would have got a birth certificate. What happened after being in hospital for a week and a half? My body, the woman's body will actually save the mother and abort the kid. And what it did was put me into labour. So after a long labour, a massive bleed out, my husband thought I was going as well as his kid. He thought he was going to lose me too. We ended up realizing that they did an autopsy. They actually let us spend time with him because he was alive up until the moment he came out. I had to tell them to stop putting the heartbeat on. I didn't need to hear it anymore. And my husband had never suffered or been through any death. I'd lost a brother and grandfather and other close family members. So for him, his very first experience of death was his own son and nearly losing his wife. And once we sort of got through all of that and, you know, he started having panic attacks and all sorts of things, we had an autopsy and they found out that my placenta was all infected. And I really believe that it was because I let the doctors stick their fingers in every day. Because the second time I got pregnant, same thing. And I ended up in a hospital bed, upside down. It's called Trendelenburg. They put your head here and your legs here because I was dilated from 20 weeks. Wasn't allowed out of bed at all. At all. There was nowhere to shower. There was one beautiful nurse who washed my hair twice in 5 months. She took off the back of the bed and had a big bin underneath that she would wash my hair in. I had to learn to walk again. Imagine not walking for that many months. Not allowed to push to go to the toilet. I had to eat kiwi fruit with the skin on. Ash had one the other day and I said, I can't touch that because she's like, roughage. I'm like, no. I was forced to eat it every day, right? I had prunes and needles and all sorts of things every day. But because we'd lost Dylan, this time I crossed my legs and I said, nah, no one's touching. You know that I'm open and I'm dilated, but nobody needs to look. So every week we got a letter that told us what the survival rate was. Now, back then, they would not resuscitate a baby less than 24 weeks. So they asked us to be part of a study that if I went into labour, they would pull an envelope to decide if they would try to resuscitate. And I know that study, they now do resuscitate earlier than 24 weeks. But if the baby's born at 24 weeks, the survival rate is 20%. It's really low with long-term health complications. Every 4 weeks was a milestone. So when we got to 24 weeks, we knew now they could resuscitate. When we got to 28 weeks, we knew the survival rate was the same as a full-term baby, but still with health complications. When we got to 32 weeks, we knew that they might be slow to develop, but as they grow, they will match everybody else's milestones. It'll just take them a little longer. So 32 weeks was huge for us, massive, because now we had the opportunity to really believe we could bring home a healthy baby at 32 weeks. But we kept going. We got to 36 weeks and they moved me back to Geelong. I was in the old Royal Women's Hospital. Hot, horrible air conditioning, really bad. The nurses loved us so much that every time I got a new roommate over those months, Sally loves the fan on, we're not turning it off. When I first got there, I didn't have the window and they moved me to the window. The people that would feed me would feed my husband, right? We still actually send them Christmas cards every year. And a couple of years ago, we got a letter back from the hospital about how much they love our Christmas cards because we send them photos of our Shay every year to see, so they can see how she's been growing up over the last 20 years. So after we lost Dylan, that was the start of the decision that I needed to do something that I loved. And this is when this quote started. How much shorter can you be if you only live up until the time that you enter the planet. You know, every year we buy a Christmas present for Dylan and we put it under the Kmart wishing tree. Whatever we would have bought him at the time. I remember when he turned 13, we bought him a mountain bike, riding gear, and Shay and I and Danny, we went down and we put it under the wishing tree. We're now buying presents for a 21-year-old. Well, actually, next year he'll be 22, so he could be, you know, looking at having girlfriends and things like that. So we'll be donating to an adult. But when we lost Dylan, I decided Centrelink was a job and it was soul-sucking. Everybody rings for a problem. And they blame me like I had any sense of being able to change government legislation, right? But they blame me. So that's when I started my photography business. And it was called DJ Dedicated Photography. And then it was DJ Dedicated Designs because I started getting into Photoshop. And this was the start of our new life. I decided I would not go back to corporate. And then by the end of 2024, I was pregnant again. But this time they made me go in for an ultrasound every other week to check from the moment that I got pregnant. Because the placenta was infected, they thought that was the problem. So they didn't do anything else because if they tried to stitch, they could break the membrane and I would lose her. Well, at the time, we actually never wanted to find out if she was a boy or a girl because we just wanted to bring a healthy baby home. So 20 weeks, same thing happened. My poor husband, when they left the room really abruptly, he nearly fainted. He ended up laying on the floor. I was more worried about him than I was about anything else. But 4 months stuck in a hospital bed. They ended up calling us the happy couple because we played games, we did puzzles, we never got out of bed. I had women coming in next to me and they were like, I can't stay here, and they go out for a smoke. And I'm like, I've been laying here for 2 months, love. You've been here for 2 days and you're doing that and you got a baby growing in you. I was so angry with them. I remember like not being able to get out of bed to being really embarrassed to go to the toilet. I cannot stand the smell of Glen 20 anymore because I'd go to the toilet. My husband would sit there and spray the hospital bedroom because of the stinky smells. But I lost all dignity, right? I couldn't even sit up. I wasn't allowed to use any stomach muscles whatsoever. But this time I was determined. I was so determined to bring this baby home. I can tell you, this story is not looking for sympathy. It's showing determination. My husband, when we got stuck in hospital, every day he would go for a walk. And every day he would buy a little Mr. Men or a little Miss book. And we started with the Mr. Men's and we ran out. There was not enough around. The first book he bought was Mr. Strong with his eggs. And he read a Mr. Men and then eventually Little Miss, because I'd been there for so long. He read that to my stomach every day. And towards the end, we had 3 books that we couldn't find locally or anywhere to complete the whole set. And he read the book to my tummy, as he always did, for 4 months. And he said, tomorrow night we'll have to read something else because we can't get the last 3 books. Guess what? I went into labour the next day. And after she was born, she ended up in ICU, but that was better than NICU because we were expecting NICU. ICU with a bit of jaundice to us was like, yeah, bring it on, right? Here I am expecting to have a kid with, no heart and no lungs and all the things wrong, forever having to feed him, to some jaundice and spending, a couple of weeks in ICU. Lucky for me, because the hospital loved me so much, they didn't kick me out of the hospital. They let me stay in a room in the ICU so I could be with her. Danny started reading Mr. Men books to her in the ICU and making all the nurses cry, right? But this isn't a story to make you feel sorry for me. It's a story to share with you that life is so goddamn short. It's too short to not follow your dreams. You know, my family told me for a long time to stay. My mum told me to stay at Centrelink. It's the safe option. You know, and I know it can feel really risky to follow your heart. But the underlying message here is sometimes what looks really, really scary is actually the safest path. You know, and what is the safest thing is sometimes risky. And if I had returned to that corporate world, it would have eaten my soul. You know, we know, when buyers come to us as coaches, they're asking advice from people who are qualified. But if we go to our partner and our friends to ask for advice on our dream, they're not actually qualified to give us that advice. But we're going to go out there, we're going to ask our partner, our mother, our sister, our brother, our friend, our neighbor to try and get their permission. They're going to go out and ask people who are just not qualified. And people who are not qualified are always going to get you to choose the safe thing because they don't fully understand your vision, because it's your vision, it's not theirs. And it doesn't matter what it is you're selling, okay? This is just true. The person that's going to buy your program, right, they've got a vision for themselves. And that person that they're going to ask is you. I'll tell you, I asked my mum for permission and she kept telling me, go get a real job. Go back to Centrelink. Because you know what? She was telling me this because my mum wants to keep me safe. And you know what? My mum was correct, but she was not right. Who has had a loved one give you advice that may have been correct, but you knew in your heart that it was not right? You see, what we do here is not actually for us. This business that I run is not for me. It's in service of you. It's in service of you and your vision and your dream. And it would be wrong of you not to give that to the world. Like, I do truly believe everyone has a course in them. You know, I used to play it safe. You know, the right path that I had to walk. But I realized safe is risky. Waiting is costly. And when I don't step up, it's not just you who misses out. It's your family, it's your future, it's the clients waiting for you. So who here has ever been told take the safe option, but deep down you know it's not right? Look, as we finish up today, I want you to ask yourself, if it's not going to be you, who? If it's not now, when? Because nobody can do this for you. But you don't have to do it alone. And you know what? We're here for you. And there's no time like now, like the present, to start chasing your dream. And if you know this is the right decision for you, go click that button. Go fill in the form. Let's, join us in celebrating tomorrow when we have our Sparkle party. But you know what? It's your journey. And you need to first own your own journey. Enroll yourself in a belief that you can do this. And for those of you who are still debating and maybe you're stuck, please reach out. We can have a chat. Now, a decision isn't actually due tomorrow, But hey, we're having our Sparkle celebration tomorrow, and why would you want to miss out on something that starts immediately? And between us, why would you delay getting started? Look, this is the time, really. I want to see you follow your dream, make more money, have more time, have that life, that business, that plan, versus waiting. RIM, repetition, immersion, model a proven practice, modeling real success. Because literally, we're building the same business model right alongside you. I'm sharing my numbers with you. If you watch my last video, last Tuesday on Strategy with Sally, which is our weekly live, I went real deep on my numbers. So I do feel the weight of this decision, but I do invite you to come talk to us. But if you know that this is the right time for you, act boldly. Embrace commitment. All right. So they tell you to drink water when you're going to cry, or push your tongue up on the roof of your mouth. If I stopped a few times, that was probably because I was pushing my tongue up on the top of my mouth to stop the waterworks. Otherwise, there'll be makeup everywhere. But look, if you're sitting on the fence, come talk to us, because let us help you make that dream business a reality. But you have to do the work. But you won't be doing it alone. And we'll give you our software to use for a year. Lots of expert calls. Get to come out, hang with me every Tuesday, right? For Strategy with Sally. And what I've really loved now is we're doing hands-on reviews of offer, messaging, your live event, and your sales calls, which was never available before. And I mean, for $9,000, you get a whole team in your back pocket for a year. And if you want us to build it for you, well, we can do that too. All right. I forgot to get a video ready for you that I wanted to share. If you can wait a minute, you'll kind of see, it kind of reminds me a little bit about Ash as well. I'm going to look for it on YouTube. Give me 1 second. It's a video I haven't shared for a long time, but this just kind of made me think about, Ash is like, I'm the crazy. And I'm like, well, you follow the crazy, baby, because you're here. Hang on 1 second. Let me see if I can find it and I'll share it with you. Here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want ads. Hang on. All right, hang on. Let me find my little... Where is my button? Yeah, I've lost the real button, so I can't put it on like that. But I can just do... Let me come back. Actually, I've got... See, this is what happens when you're not prepared. Where is it? My share screen... Here, this one will work, the Wheel of Names one. Let's do it on here. Come back to the Wheel of Names. Let's get rid of me and this and this and this, so that you can actually appreciate the thing. Let me get this. And then... Come on. We'll get there. All right. And where's my sound to make sure audio sound's coming through? Yes. Okay. So this kind of reminds me of Ash. Remember when Ash shared the story yesterday about being 1 day behind me? All right, let's do it.
So ladies and gentlemen, at TED, we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement.
All right, hang on. This is not the one I want. Hang on 1 second. Let me quickly look for another one. This one.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
There we go. Who knew that that crazy video would make me cry again? I love you, Ash. And I love all of you guys who have followed. Oh, hang on. Video's playing in the background for me. So let's do a little, what was your key takeaway? So coming around the room, Maria, I know it's Maria, but I always call you Marika. Come on up, share from today. What's a takeaway or an aha for you?
Hi everyone. Oh, everything, Sally. You can call me Marika. Please call me Marika anyway. The biggest takeaway, oh my goodness, I must reflect on my own life as you were sharing. My daughter was all revived when she was born, and she's 31. And I just kept crying and crying, not because I feel sorry for you, but because I really appreciate how real, transparent, loving, and kind you are, and how you inspire and keep inspiring me. And like I don't know who you would not inspire. So thank you, Sally, for being the first leader, and so many other first followers, they are coming after you.
Oh,
And if I would reflect again on a biggest takeaway, though, I heard it a few times, but the objection about the space is not really about the space. It's really about us referencing our past mistake and past failures, turning them into the fears that we inadequate and that we will not follow through again this time, and we just projecting our fears to our spouses and our loved ones and showing them that we don't believe in ourselves, therefore we're gonna disappoint ourselves, and therefore they are fearing for us more than for themselves. And as you said, your mom loved you. She just wanted you to be safe. And I can see that in my husband. I can see that in my daughters. They just want me to be happy and not to fail again. So thank you.
you're welcome. Deborah, do you want to come up and share a takeaway for you?
Yeah, I was just going to run, but I've stayed because
Oh,
I'm so compelled to stay.
thank you.
Well, firstly, your story is just so so heartfelt, and so yeah, I cried too, but not out of pity, but
Good.
just the humanity of it. I think I agree with Marika that I just don't think I've had the courage before. I was in teaching, which is not corporate, but it's safe. And 40 years in that profession, I it's a very different mindset. And I didn't realize just how big a shift it would be for me to move away from being an employee to being independent. And so your four objections, I suppose, all apply to me in some way or other.
I think they do to everybody, right? And I think it's
Yeah.
acknowledging them and recognizing them as well.
Mm.
One thing I learned
Yeah.
that really made a huge difference in therapy was forgive yourself for what you didn't know before you knew it, right? And now we
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah.
We can do something different about it. We can reframe it. We can, make that work and do that effort to shift the way we think. I mean, you help people with emotional eating. We're trying to shift their thought patterns when you're doing that, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the same in business, because people think, I'm just going to sell the thing I love, but they forget there's marketing, there's sales, there's all this research involved and sexy numbers. And it's doing all the hard work up front to have the dream
Yeah.
later on. And what people do is they get stuck in that hard work and they forget about the big dream of why they started in the
Yeah.
first place. And always coming back to your why, and your why will shift, right?
Yeah.
My why originally was to just for my husband to be able to contribute to that family income, but still do what I loved. Another why was to hire a housekeeper because I didn't like doing the housework, right? But now it's bigger than that. It's that 33 million. There is a reason for it. It's because of just you, small little tiny group of people. We don't need to be a Tony Robbins to make a difference, right? We don't need to be a Brene Brown. We just need to be us and make a difference in the small amount of people that we have. Hey, it would be awesome to be a Brene Brown, but for most of us, we're not going to be that unicorn, and to be okay with that too, that we can make an impact in our own little area of the world. Joanne, I didn't even see Joanne come in. Hello, Joanne. Is she coming? She always struggles with the button. Let's bring up Sarah if you're okay to come on screen. I saw you getting hugs from Malcolm. He is your biggest supporter, and you two are just beautiful. You remind me a little bit of me and my husband. We both drive each other crazy. I'm ADHD all through and through. He goes to bed at 10 o'clock last night and he knows I'm not following him. Right? He's like, I'll just let you be, because I think both Ash and I are up some crazy texting each other. Two ADHD people together is, actually we can talk over the top of each other and it's a great conversation. So Sarah,
Three of us. Yeah.
yeah.
And then if there's three of us.
is
So,
my beloved.
yeah.
Um,
So what came up for you today, my love?
I have pages and pages of notes. So much, a ton. Yeah, the squirrel brain's doing its fabulous thing as per usual. So, it's off on a fast camel, and I think, yeah, I mean, the first couple of days have just been just incredible. Yesterday I kind of hit another speed bump, and look, that's okay. That's what business is about, and mentoring, and being accountable, and having people who get you and hold you through that is just, really, really vital. And you guys get the vision, you see the vision, and you allow me the side quests, and then it's like, yes, but is that the direction we're going in? And there was a beautiful refocus yesterday, because I was so immersed in the training that I went and got myself a new dot client. So
We know who your client is, and when you go off on your little tangents, come back and we'll refocus you back into your focus, which is, we've already put your program together, you've got your
yeah,
infographic, right?
it's
We know,
just beautiful.
yeah, it's so good.
And this is the beauty of the program. I mean, this is the beauty of being, a client of yours and working hand in hand, because you give us the steps to follow, and it's like, okay, so are you going to show up for this? And I'm like, heck yes, I'm here, and I'm finished, and I'm done. And I'm like, right, what's next? And it's great, because you provide the structure, you provide the support, you provide the challenge, and you're not afraid of asking the hard questions. And nor have you shied away from the hard stuff today. And the humanity of your story is extraordinary. Resonates a wee bit too close to the bone with my own. So a bit challenging to hear that, but very grateful to revisit, those things and realize that they still matter.
They do.
And just the pure joy of the gift of what you're doing, every Christmas doing something for Dylan, and honoring his memory as a family. And that's just so precious to be able to do that. That's next level. Sorry, I mean, that was a key takeaway.
Yeah. My daughter,
Um,
all on her own, when she was really little and she started to write, and she would write on our birthday cards and Christmas cards, she started writing from Shay and Dylan, and we never asked her to do that.
Oh,
Right.
bless.
And she, one of the mums at her school told me off for talking about Dylan because he died, and I shouldn't be putting my young daughter through that. And I'm like, no, we celebrate his life.
Heck yes.
We celebrate what he gave to our family. I would
Yeah.
not be doing what I'm doing today if he was never born. Even though he was
Yeah.
1 day shy of getting a birth certificate, 1 day, because the
Yeah.
nurses didn't want to do the paperwork. He's still real.
Of course he is.
And, we celebrate him. He is the reason why we do what we do. And, my husband quit a corporate job. He got poached by another company, and that corporate job wanted him back at work 3 days after losing Dylan. 3 days. He quit. And my husband has never been out of work since he was 14. And, it made us reassess everything, but now we get to do what we love. We do it for people. Like, honestly, I would spend, my husband, we always joke, if I won Tats Lotto, I'd spend money on ads so I could get more people to help. Right? I wouldn't go and upgrade the house. I'm happy with our house. I love the fact that I can walk around our backyard and I'm like, that thing is 20 years old. Right?
Yeah.
In your garden, you cannot buy what we have. Like, if you saw my flowers, that's 7 years of growth to get that. I remember the first 3 years, there was no flowers.
Yeah.
And we've planted trees together that were tiny that are now getting bigger. And by the time my daughter's got grandkids, we'll have a swing hanging from its branch. But we would never have that if we move from this block. I don't need the mansion. I don't want the mansion.
No.
I like my little plot of earth, and I just want to travel, make experiences. I don't need or want a mansion. I don't need to live on Sydney Harbour with the view. What I need is to spend more
Why
money
would
to
you
help
want
more
to?
people.
Yeah.
And the same as you,
Yeah.
you've got something so beautiful to help and share. And it was a privilege to put that program together with you, right? I've just done one for Deborah Garbra, and I've just done one for Orjinga and James as well. And I really only do one of those a month. Like, they're big jobs.
They are
They're
big.
huge.
Yeah.
You know, I spent all
I don't know how
weekend.
you felt at the I don't know how you felt at the end of it, but at the end of it, I felt wrung out with all of the questions and how you dove right into you literally were able to climb inside of my brain and see what it is that I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And then you went, okay, well, that's way too scattered. That's way too disorganized. Okay, this is how we do it. Boom, done. And it was when you presented that to me, I was just in tears because you saw my vision. You saw what my heart for kids with ADHD, that they can't connect with their education, and you heard the huge scary big vision, which is that we can make systemic change, cultural change, we can make a massive change, you know, on the GDP and in law and mental health and all that, because once we get the support, the strength, and the support and the story there, and the structure around them, you know, just life makes so much difference. It makes more sense. And I can't honor you enough for what you have done, and for the brilliance and the sparkle that you brought back, you know, because it was really too hard. It was getting too hard. I couldn't keep all the bits together. All the stuff was scattered, and I was in this place doing this thing, learning this thing, and then I realized that I didn't have this thing over here, and I had to go and do this thing, and I was losing this thing. Now, with what you have done, the business that you have built, you've brought all of that stuff together in this beautiful environment that is so strong and so structured and so kind and generous and wise and experienced. And why anybody would waste their excuses and not invest in not only in themselves but join into the dream that you have created and that you have got is beyond me. It is hard for us to keep investing every month. It is hard for us to do this, but I would not be in the place that I am now, ready to launch this freaking scary, amazing launch pad that I am, if it wasn't for you and for Ash and Vinodi and Beverly and John and Mark doing everything there in the background that you have done to help me and provide the structure for both me and my sweet man, that we are going to be able to live the way that we want to live. And leverage my ADHD brilliance and still keep my husband with me to be able to do what it is that we want to do in the community that we want to serve.
Thank you so much,
So,
Sarah.
thank
Honestly,
you.
we're honored. All of you who are in our program, we are just as you know, as the business owner that helps to bring you all together. It is an honor to be a part of your journey. Sometimes it makes me, I get a bit frustrated, and I want to shake some of you who don't do the action. Like, I get so like, oh, but you know, it is also your journey to go through. No matter how much I want it for you, you still have to do the work. We can build it, but they will not come. You still have to do marketing. You still have to go out. Like, even Ash and I, we didn't hit our target for this event because Facebook wouldn't let me spend the money I wanted to spend. So we're thinking of other ways right now. We're like, hey, let's go out and do some networking. One, it'll be fun and we get out of the office for the day, but we're still thinking of other ways that we can, you know, share this with the world. And we only want a few. We don't need millions of you, but we want strong-willed, passionate people who are going to take action to put their thing out to the world, to bring in their small amount of people. Like I said, we don't have to be a Tony Robbins and a Brene Brown to truly make impact in the world. All right, we better wrap up because Ash has just sent me a message reminding me I have an appointment in 15 minutes. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to go and wash my face and do all the things. I think we've really had a great experience here together. I won't have time to go dark with you all and do the coaching because I've totally gone over time, but I have really loved watching your faces, hearing your stories. And remember, today's live is all about you getting a little vulnerable as well. It is scary, but your story, that's what people remember, right? Is your story. We've all had this life. I believe, and I know it's a bit woohoo, I feel like I've been on this planet many times before. There's a personality test that I do on repeat, and I keep getting wise as my top 3. I know it's a bit woohoo, but I do feel like I've been around a bit. I feel like I'm very, very, very old. I remember when I was like 14 feeling like I was 60. So I don't know where it all came from, but a little woohoo. All right, my beautiful humans out there in the big wide world, if you've made it to the end of today, it's a long day that you sat here and listened, you're a lifer. Yeah, that's what you are. You're a lifer. So I'll be seeing you, whether it's this time or the next time. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. And for those of you who have applied, I can't wait. Oh, tomorrow. I'm supposed to tell you what's happening tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about the power of one, and you're going to set your 90-day plan. We are going to do a celebration, and the dress code is sparkle and colors. The most sparkliest, colorful person will win a prize. Okay? So, and then at the end of tomorrow, we'll be doing a little welcome for our new cohort. And anybody who is already in our program, you can also come along and welcome the new cohort as well. We have retired the elite program because the new OmniSpark Academy, one day it's going to fall out of my mouth, has way more features, and I've hired more people to help get you through it. So everybody who the elite program has been reinvented and has now been retired. But have a great one. I need to go and get ready. I'm actually going off to present Ojenga with his map, just like I gave Sarah of his course right now. So I'm really excited. I'm going to jump over to the VOZ and do that now. Have a great one, guys. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. Make sure you get at least one income-producing activity done every day, and every day be marketing. Bye, guys.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're if you might mess it up. Shine, go